Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Coin Gamma podcast. It's not every day I have another podcaster on my podcast, but I'm lucky enough to have Mr. Elgin Swift, host of the Cryptology podcast. And he's here to share some of his insights with us here today. So we're honored to have you, Elgin. Elgin, thanks for coming on, and let us know who was Elgin and what was he doing before he got into crypto.
I'm doing what I was still doing. Elgin is a dude from the Bronx, Yonkers, raised in Yonkers, in the Bronx mostly.
Okay.
Kind of made his own way through life. Found cryptocurrency like the rest of us. Saw the opportunity in it. Got into it, fortunately, before a lot of people. Not too far, but enough where I was able to do okay.
Okay.
But now I'm just kind of, someone who believes in the future of it and believes in letting other people know the future of it and making sure that people don't miss out, So just like to spread the word.
100%. But I mean, obviously, everybody has different stories. Like, did you trust it when you heard about it? Was it through a friend? Was it through, obviously, if it was through means that you don't want to expose?
No, it's fine.
It's all right.
It's so I'm a contrarian by nature. So
Sure.
kind of like wherever people don't want to go, I tend to go, or things that they don't like, I tend to like. And so most people did not trust cryptocurrency.
Right.
Trust cryptocurrency. That's what drew me to it. I'm gonna say probably like I remember 2012 or so. I almost got into it the first time.
That's crazy.
And I was at work and I was like, okay, I'm gonna put $1,000 in Bitcoin.
Right.
Let's leave it there and see what happens. And I was reading about setting up the wallets, and I got distracted at work and just never went back to it.
That's crazy.
So then you go. I guess this would be like a year and a half ago, 2 years. Yeah, almost 2 years ago. I heard about it again, and I heard about Ethereum and Litecoin, and I saw what Bitcoin was at, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to make the same mistake again.
100%.
So I locked my office door, kept everybody out my office, set up a wallet because it was real easy,
Sure.
and put some money into it. I actually took some of the people that worked for me and said, okay, listen, don't tell me anything. Here's what you're going to do. Take some money and put it in this coin, and this coin, and we're going to ride this shit out. So, some people at work were like, nah, I don't want nothing to do with that.
Right.
3 or 4 people were like, all right, we trust you. You're a smart guy, and if I lose this money, the same thing I told them, I said, look, I'm putting this money in it. If I lose it, it's not going to change my life.
Sure.
But if it turns into something, it can be a nice situation.
I mean, that's the golden rule, man. Don't put more money in than you could lose. Right. A lot of people kind of put in a lot of money in 17. In 18, they were hurting. For the people that just kind of put play money in or side money in, then it was a learning experience. So I'm glad that you kind of told your colleagues that's the way to move, right?
Yeah, no, it was cool. We got I'm gonna say, let me think about it for a minute. It was probably 9 times return.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And so then, I don't know if you remember, but I think there was a dip too, there was a 48-hour window, I think, where everything not bottomed out, but things definitely went down 30% and then went right back up. So I played on that too. So as soon as I saw it dipping, everybody at my job was like, what do you do? What am I doing? What do I do?
Right.
And I was like, buy more.
Exactly.
I said, look, just take X and put it in there and sell it in 48 hours.
Sure.
And that's exactly, and that wasn't because I did any smart technical analysis. It was really just off gut.
Right.
And so I bought a whole bunch more and then dumped it within 48 hours. And that was like a 1.5 return in less than 24 hours.
That's crazy. Yeah, man. Those were the times. But obviously, in addition to investing, trading, and being an evangelist at, your workplace, you're also in the crypto media space too, right? So, tell us about the Cryptology podcast. Why'd you start it? When'd you start it? What's the focus?
Okay. So I was getting not tired, I shouldn't say that, but friends and certain people in the music industry and, different spaces asking me, what should I do? Boom, boom, boom. How do I do it? And one person was like, yo, you should just do a podcast on it. So I was like, all right, maybe, and originally I wanted to do a podcast on just investing in general.
Sure.
Because I feel like, minorities, whether it's, black, brown, women, whoever,
Sure.
like kind of, and I don't even want to say not only minorities, but like anybody that just comes from poverty.
Of
Like
course.
because I come from poverty. So
Right.
we kind of don't know any of those ins and outs
Of
of
course.
making money except for going to work and working for someone else.
Of
So I
course.
always wanted to do something on investing, um, and encouraging people who come from poverty to invest. And it just so happened, like I was like, okay, crypto. A lot of people hitting me up, and crypto was hot at the time. It was on a run,
Of
and
course.
I went to Loudspeakers Network. The people I knew were there, and I was like, I got this idea, and they were like, cool, let's try it out. We've been on a pilot program with them probably now. We're a little over a year now.
That's
And,
amazing.
and yeah, so I brought on originally I had who my co-host is, Carl. Y'all might know him as at the underscore the civil right. He was originally like my first guest on the
Sure.
show,
Right.
and I started it with a different dude, Azim, and Carl was the first guest, and Azim kind of faded out, like for whatever reason he was busy, and I told Carl like, yo, I just want you to be on the show with me,
Right. Right. Right.
like just stay on the show, like be the co-host.
Yeah.
And he was on, and then my other friend Dutch, who I always do business with, he would just come and like hang out in the studio, and he
Yeah.
wasn't really interested in being on the show. But
Right.
eventually, like he would be yelling in the background,
Right.
and like always adding shit in. So I remember one time, like someone on Twitter was like, "Yo, just give Dutch a mic." So I
Right.
was like, all right, we're gonna give Dutch a mic, and then Dutch just became like a reoccurring person on the show too, and we kind of. Every week we try to bring somebody different on and tell their story and,
Yeah.
talk about crypto. Sometimes we'll do non-crypto stuff, a lot of pop culture stuff, because we feel like, that's the bait to lure people in. We're kind of funny and we crack jokes, but
Nah,
we
for
also,
sure.
give you lessons at the same time.
Nah, I love it. I love it. I love it, man. You gotta sometimes you gotta put the medicine in the ice cream, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for
Right?
sure.
Let's double back a bit. Obviously a lot, for folks that I don't know, I'm a big hip hop head, and for folks that are not hip hop heads, Loudspeaker Networks is like this huge podcast network within the urban, I would say, urban / hip hop community. And one of my like most favorite podcasts, R.I.P. Combat Jack. He was on the Loudspeaker Network and things of that sort. So how did you connect with Loudspeakers? Like, they just wanted to kind of do a new podcast, and you happened to hit them up at the same time?
I just knew people that were behind the scenes. Like I knew Combat, and he's like one of the founders of it. Rest in peace. A King, who's one of the other founders, is who I approached. But I was friendly with other people who had podcasts there, whether it was Tax, Free Tax.
Sure.
I was on his podcast, and it was just like relationships that I had with people. Believe it or not, I became most cool with A King because of the Knicks. Like he knew me from the Knicks on Twitter, and we ran into each other one time at a New Year's Eve party, and we was just cool. And we always talked about doing a podcast, and I guess it was like just a matter of having a different content, different subject matter, because everybody is doing pop culture or hip hop.
Sure.
It's a saturated lane, so this is kind of a niche podcast in a niche space.
No, I love the mix, man, because like I said, I'm a hip hop head, and my Twitter is crazy because my Twitter is it's like half crypto.
Yeah.
Like the other half is a mix between hip hop and sports. You know what I'm saying? And so it's cool that you guys kind of fit in all three. So that's powerful. So back to some of the stories that you had as far as like putting people on. Like what do you for people that this might have been the first time they listen to my podcast, they don't know anything about crypto. Like what's your suggestions to people on how they should get started?
I always tell people it's like to take the simplest route, and I say like Google cryptocurrency, Google blockchain, Google Bitcoin, Google Ethereum. Like learn what is blockchain, learn what is Bitcoin, learn what is Ethereum and Litecoin, and like start with those three. And once you understand those three and how they function and what makes them different, that will kind of open you up to the rest. I would say, definitely read the white paper on Bitcoin to give you some history and understand why it started and how it started. And I think, like, I don't know, at least for me, like once I start reading one thing and I become passionate about it, I just naturally read everything I can find.
Right.
And that's how I started learning about it. And, It's not hard. Like, you know, there's way harder things to read and learn.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? Than cryptocurrency. It's just, you know, just in taking the time. Like I always say, like we invest most of our day in reading bullshit. Whether it's, you know what I'm saying, we be on Twitter. I'll be like you know, people complaining about stuff that isn't really important, or being on Vlad TV, World Star, whatever.
Right.
You can spend your time in such a more productive way.
100%, man. What do you you know, me during in 2017, everybody was asking me, right?
Everybody.
And then you know, once the bear market happened, you know, people were asking me like, what? Like Bitcoin? I thought Bitcoin was dead. You still talking about that stuff? Right. And so between the personal conversations you have and your podcast, like, do you think have you seen it's like hard to kind of keep people's interest?
I mean, I think, yeah, definitely, because everybody wants easy money. You know what I'm saying? So now that the gains are not there and the quick flips, although the flips are there if you really, you know, spend the time every day. I'm someone who doesn't have that type of time. I just do long-term plays right now. But, you know, it's hard to maybe get people that aren't already interested a lot harder than what it used to be.
Yeah.
But I think it's just building, you know, mental awareness. Like I might have people that listen to the podcast that haven't bought anything yet, but they're thinking of investing. You know, and it might not, the lesson that we give in crypto can be applied to anything else.
100%.
You know, so we might spark one. Yeah, you might go and buy some stocks. You might have had someone who never enrolled in a 401k that might now enroll in their 401k. You know, maybe they want to start looking at real estate. You know, just getting you thinking differently, because, you know, we all complain about money, I think, and, you know, talking about like how hard it is to survive, or, you know, especially in the tri-state, you know, with the cost of living and
of course.
But there's really so many ways to get a dollar. Like, you just got to go out and get it. Like, for me, I tell people all the time, like my job, although I have a good career and I'm compensated well, my job is really just to fund my other dreams.
Of course, that's it.
You know? That's it. So I'm always looking at, if it's, you know, you got to have multiple revenue streams, whether it's stock dividends, whether it's real estate that I have, you know, cryptocurrency. Like I said, that's a long-term play. I got another Airbnb angle that I got.
Of course.
It's just different ways, like just thinking differently. Stop thinking about stuff that you can buy that it doesn't make you money. Think about how you could spend your money to make more money, and that's always the message.
100%, man. That's the gospel right there, man. So, you know, obviously, going back to hip hop, man. And do you think you ever see like crypto being embedded in hip hop, or blockchain being in the music industry? Is there any parallels or any use cases there?
I think so. I already know people who are using the blockchain to track their publishing. Because tracing publishing in the music industry is like, you know, it's like the Wizard of Oz. Like, you know, it's a guy behind the curtain. So, you know, I know a guy out on the West Coast, Elgin Swift, shouts to him. He's got a piece of technology that's going to allow you to, you know, track and monetize your publishing on the blockchain. So it can't be no under the table deals.
Right.
So I think that is obviously an avenue. I think you're seeing rappers involved. I know Nipsey Hussle is involved.
Of course.
Obviously, Nas owns a piece of Coinbase.
Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, I think as it starts to blossom and become more mainstream, absolutely, because, you know, rappers love to talk about money. So,
of course.
You know, so it's only natural that you see that transition.
No, for sure. That's crazy, man. Why do you think obviously, you know, there's not too many people that look like us in this industry. So why do you think it's important for people of color to kind of take a look at this and keep their eye on it, even though there's a bear market?
It's like anything else, man. Like I said, we kind of miss out on shit because we misinformed, you know. And cryptocurrency, the beauty of it is it's really no walls. You know,
right.
If you want to get into if you want to be a stockbroker, like you have to go down and, you know, you have to, whether you take an internship at a place and work for free and learn the craft and get fortunate enough to be chosen, or you want to go into hedge funds, you have to come from an elite school with a referral and a recommendation. Yeah. You know, with cryptocurrency, you just got to turn your computer on and do the research. And
that's it.
And you could just be a stockbroker. You could make your own plays. So I think I always said, like, even when I was on Complex, I said, you know, there's been a couple of booms in the history of America, and you had the gold rush.
Of course.
You had the stock market boom.
Of
You
course.
had the .com boom.
Of course.
And I feel like the cryptocurrency boom is there. Like we haven't had the boom per se. Although I guess you could argue when it goes from whatever cents it was to 19,000, that's a boom. But
Right.
we're still like it's a baby.
Of course.
You can go to if right now if you wanted to learn, let's say, the history of the stock market.
Right.
The amount of reading and research and studying that you would have to do to learn the whole history of it is so labor intensive. Where
Right.
with cryptocurrency, it's 10 years, less, give or take 10 years old.
100%.
No one is really a true expert. You can become your own expert, and not only from like an investing standpoint, like you talk about, you could do day trades and you could do long-term plays and make money that way. But I think just becoming an expert in it, there's going to be job opportunities. Banks are going to need people that understand crypto.
Yeah.
Schools are going to need people that understand crypto. So you put yourself in position to be one of those people. And that me doing the Cryptology podcast was really just A, to bring awareness, and B, increase my knowledge through the source of my guests. And then hopefully there's an opportunity to then be compensated for, speaking about it or educating people on it. But, I know that's really the long-term play. Like,
Yeah.
there are no experts.
Right. No, for sure. I mean, you kind of summarize my whole play as well. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of position myself as a leader. Use these conversations to increase my knowledge and increase my brand, man. No, I love it. Let's pivot. You know what I'm saying? Let's pivot to the hat, man. You got a beautiful hat. For those who are listening on audio, he's wearing a Knicks hat. I thought I was a big Knicks fan, but then I started following Elgin. I realized I'm not. He's a true Knicks fan. He's probably it's Spike Lee and him. I've been a long-suffering Knicks fan for a while, but Elgin is about it. So what would it take? What would it take for the Knicks to win a chip? Like, what's the path?
Listen,
is that ever going to happen while I'm alive?
I don't know. I'm gonna tell you because also besides me being a Knicks fan, I'm an Eagles fan, and I never thought the Eagles would win a chip.
Right.
And they won it, and that year when they won it, if I would have told you in the beginning of the year the Eagles were gonna even contend for a Super Bowl, you would be like, no, they're not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So things happen when you least expect it, and I'm hoping that somehow the Knicks figure it out. I mean, they traded Porzingis, which if you don't want to be here, like, I'm fine. Like, I don't want nobody that don't want to be here.
Right.
And now he can go live his life in Dallas and do what he got to do. We got a lot of money riding on the summer.
Right.
Historically, we always get our heart broken in free agency.
Yes.
But, I spoke to some people on Sunday. I was at a dinner with someone who's at a pretty big agency, and they said like it's a very good possibility that Durant will come, and I probably shouldn't say this, but his agent is looking to leverage Durant into getting a job in the front office with the Knicks.
What? That's crazy.
So that could be a play. If they get him and Kyrie, I'll be really happy. I don't want Kyrie unless Durant comes, because I think Kyrie is great as your second best player.
Yeah.
Not as your first best player.
Yeah, we see right now with the Celtics, man. He's kind of like unraveling a little bit, being the main dude.
A little bit.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, it is tough, and they had high expectations.
Yeah.
The light turned off on me in my room.
That's
but anyway, but yeah, no, I hear you, man. I'm hoping the Knicks could kind of do something. It's been too long.
Worst case scenario, we got number 1, 2, or 3 picks. So
yeah. Exactly.
We'll see what happens, man. I think, I like the fact that I think the front office is in tune with each other.
Right.
They're all on the same page. The coach is on the same page. I don't think we've had that in a while, especially under the previous regime. You had general manager one page, coach another page, player different page. I feel like, like Steve Mills and Perry and Fizdale, like they all are on. They're rowing in the same direction.
Yeah, I hate the fact. I mean, Mills has been he's been around a little bit too long, man. Like, and he's made some good moves, man. But I mean, that Tim Hardaway contract was terrible. But He's kind of from that old era, like that Isaiah Thomas era. So
Yeah, but he was just in charge of garden operations. Like he was just really a business guy. He comes from Chase. I mean, he's a smart dude. So
okay,
like I don't really have a problem with the Tim Hardaway contract. I thought it was, if you look at what other dudes are making, like he was making less than Otto Porter Jr. So
right,
and he averaged 20 points a game. I mean, granted, didn't have great shot selection. I don't think it was a horrible contract. I think whatever, it is what it is. He's not here no more. But
right,
I like Mills. A lot of people don't like him because of the Isaiah association.
right,
But he's a smart dude. Dude went to Stanford. You don't go to Stanford like what I'm
right,
saying, especially as a person of color.
right,
You know?
right, 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 right,
So
right.
I feel like he's a good business mind. Let Perry make the basketball decisions and see what happens.
No, I hear you, man. I hear you. Listen, man, I don't want to keep you. I know you're a busy man. I really, really appreciate you coming on the show, dropping
Yeah.
some gems. If anybody wants to kind of follow you and keep up with what you're talking about, what you're doing, where should they go?
They can follow me on Instagram, Twitter at elgin.com. That's ELGINDOTCOM. My Twitter, I'm a little crypto, a lot of hip hop, a lot of sports, and a lot of trolling on my Twitter.
Yeah.
With my Instagram. But if you want to follow the pod is at Cryptology Pod. That's on Twitter and Instagram too. And then just Apple, the podcast app, SoundCloud, Cryptology Podcast. Here to give us a follow, leave some feedback, tell us what you like, what you don't like. If any listeners out there who are into crypto, we always open to having different guests come on and just rock with us.
That's it, man. Really appreciate your time.
Yeah, man. Thank you.